Today our activity is called Bubble Trouble, and we're just going to review various types of problems, but mainly focusing on bubbling, because there's so many times that we review our test and you would have gotten the problem right, but you bubbled incorrectly. So we want to make sure that we bubble over and over again to make sure that we are familiar with our bubbling. So I'm not going to completely finish all 12 problems on here. Some I'll just walk you through, some I'll set up, some we'll just talk about. So make sure that you are completing all the problems on your own. Number 1 says that triangle KJL is similar to triangle HGI. So when it's similar, the sides and angles are, they have a relationship. Okay, so what is the length of side HI? So that's the side right here. Record your answer and fill in the bubbles. So when they are similar, that means that we can set up a proportion. Okay, and when we set up a proportion, remember there's two different ways we can write this. We can write a fraction bar between your two numbers and say that this is one ratio and this is the other ratio. So x over 6.3 equals 5.4 over 2.1, okay? Or you can find your x first, x, and then find the similar side here. So it would be x over 5.4 equals, we started with x, so we got to keep with the same number, same triangle. So it'd be 6.3 over 2.1. And the reason we could do that is because when we cross multiply here, we see that we're multiplying x times 2.1 and x times 2.1. So both of those proportions are the same. We set it up a little differently. So we have 2.1x equals 6.3 times 5.4. Okay, and so then from here, we can go ahead and cross multiply and set up our and the division. Okay, moving on to number 2. Dominic bought a new alarm clock that was on 30% sale for $18.75. What is the original price to the nearest cent? So here, if we notice, it's on sale for $18.75. So this actually, if it's 30% off and you bought it for $18.75, percent is out of 100. So they took 30% off, which means you paid 70%, right? So this $18.75 is 70% of the cost. And it wants to know what the original cost was. Well, we have this proportion of cost over original equals percent over 100. Okay, so the cost was $18.75 over, we're looking for the original, equals $18.75 represents 70% of the price times 100. Okay, so if we cross multiply here, we get 70x equals 1875 times 100. That's moving your decimal over 2 times, 1,875. And then, of course, dividing by 7. D divided by 70. Okay, go ahead, you can finish that problem, and then you'll fill out your bubble link. Number 3, Zach's designer store buys jeans from the manufacturer for $15. Okay, he then applies a 15% markup and sells them to the customer. How much does the customer pay? So we have a 15% markup here. And the original cost, so this is right here, original. Original cost. Okay, so we're looking for we know the original, and remember, original always goes on the bottom of our proportion, equals 15% is how much they marked up, so that's 15 over 100, and so we're looking for that new cost. Okay, so here we would cross multiply 100x equals 15 times 15. Okay, so then 100x equals 15 times 15 is 225, and then we're dividing by 100. Okay, so then x equals 225 divided by 100. That's moving your decimal in 2 times, 2.25. So that is the markup. Okay, so if it cost, now notice the jeans cost $15 originally, so it just makes sense that we marked up and our answer is $2.25, right? So this is where we have to take the original cost and add the markup. So that would be $17.25 as your final answer. So then 1725. Okay, so the most important part is the bubbling. So you want to make sure that you're bubbling fully in the circle, and check that you're doing the right column. You do not have to do the plus sign when it's positive, but it doesn't hurt to do the plus sign when it's positive. Also, you do not have to fill in all the boxes, so I don't have to place zeros there. Okay, now if it makes you feel better to do that, absolutely go for it. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Number 4, a bag contains 12 blue marbles, and y'all know me, I like to write these out. 12 blue, 7 green, and 9 orange marbles. A spinner has 5 equal sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Labeled 1 through 5. What is the probability of drawing a blue marble and the spinner landing on 1? So probability means that we're going to be multiplying. That's enough space for me to write this. Let's see. Multiply fractions. Okay, so what is the probability of drawing a blue marble? Well, first off, we've got to find out how many total marbles there are. So 12, 7, 9, we're adding these up, right? So 9 plus 7 is 16, and 16 plus 2 is 18. And then a 2, so that's 28 total marbles. And then we have to, how many blue marbles are there? There are 12. So the probability is 12 out of 28, okay? But then also, what is the probability of landing on a 1? Well, there's only 1 out of 5. So we write our 2 fractions. Probability means we're going to be multiplying fractions here. So 12 divided over 28 multiplied by 1 over 5. Okay, so we're going to multiply straight across. And we get 12 over, let's see, 28 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 4 is 14 over 140. Okay, so remember that this means division. So to get your decimal, we would take 12 and divide it by 140. I have to add a decimal 0 here. Bring your decimal straight up. 140 does not go into 120. Okay, so we're going to add a 0. And see how many times 140 goes into 1200. Okay, so you can go ahead and finish this problem on your own and then fill out your bubbling. Okay, number 5. The table below represents the cost of ice cream at Daryl's Creamery. Julie bought one small chocolate, and I actually just put on my paper a 1 right there. And you notice according to the table, it doesn't matter whether it's chocolate or strawberry, it's just a small, right? And 2 medium. So 2 medium. Okay, if she was charged 8% tax, gave the cashier $20, how much change? So we're looking for change. Okay, well, we got to find total cost first, right? So we're going to take 1 small, 2 mediums, and add the prices together. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I just realized I was on pause, and I don't know how long. So we converted our percent to a decimal. We set up our multiplication to find our total cost. And then once we have a total cost, I paid with a $20 bill. So then I got to take our total cost and subtract it, and that's going to give you your change. Okay. And last one for this video. Micah will be randomly assigned to a seat on an airplane. There are a total of 50 seats on the plane. Of these seats, 28% are aisle seats and the rest are window. How many window seats are there? So they already told us our total, right? There's 50 total seats on the plane. So we know total, and we know that whole goes part over whole, right? So we know that the whole goes on the bottom. And the part that they're looking for is window seats. How many window seats? So X over 50 equals, we know that there's 28 aisle seats. So what is the percent of window seats? What do we do here? A percent is out of 100. So if we take 100 and subtract 28 from it, that's going to give us our percent for window. So we have to borrow here 2, 7. So 72% are window seats. So to get our part, we have to put percent over 100, right? So it is 72 over 100. Okay, so when we cross multiply, $100x equals 72 times 50. Okay, so you're going to finish multiplying all that out and then bubble in your problems. Hold on. Okay, at this time I'm going to ask you to press stop, and I need you to finish all 6 problems before continuing with this video. Okay, the point of this activity was to ensure that you bubbled correctly, and so I wanted to go back and show you my bubbling for all 6 problems that we just went over. So here we have number 1, you should have gotten 16.2, and this is the correct bubbling. Number 2, 26.79, and this is the correct bubbling. 3, 17.25, and we got that together. 4.86. I'm sorry, this one was actually 0.09 because we already got our 0. And then we have to stop here, which means we have to round, adding 1 and dropping off. Okay, and then number 5.66 and 36. Okay, you have 6 more to finish.